Alright, what is up, Transformer fans, and welcome to Bruticus Week, Day 3. Today we're going to be taking a look at Transformers Generations Fall of Cybertron Deluxe Class Vortex. Here you can see the front of the box, nice little render of his vehicle mode there, and the animation model from the game up there, modified to match his color scheme from the toy. And he is holding I think that's the Chaos Rift Combustor. But he has part 3 of 5 of Bruticus. There's the front. And here's the back. We'll go ahead and read his bio. Few Autobots fear a fight against Vortex. What they fear is being captured and at his mercy. He uses magnetic grapples to haul helpless captives high into the sky. There he treats them to a terrifying series of swoops, loops, and dives before dropping them to their doom. So very nice. You can see there. There's a Cybertronian Assault Chopper mode, and he has part 3 of 5. There's tech specs. And that's the back of the box. Vortex comes packed in with 2 identical swords, however they are mirrored. But they are molded out of purple plastic, and they have yellow paint on the blade part here. There is a little barrel if you want to pretend it's a gun. I'll get into that later. But I'll go ahead and try to focus on this so you can see all the nice Cybertronian detail thrown out through this thing. It's very, very nice, and definitely goes well with Vortex. It has a peg there, a peg hole here, then a kind of rectangular peg up top, and I'm not sure exactly what that's for, but I'm sure there's a reason. Now the weapons incorporate into Vortex's vehicle mode one official way, and then I kind of made up a second way that I feel they could be used, but the official way is they tab in to these landing struts here, and then you can have his vehicle mode with the swords kind of in an attack mode. However, if you remember from the game, Vortex did have an alternate jet form when you held down the trigger for him to boost. So, if you plug the wings, if you plug the swords in like wings, I got mixed up there. If you plug the swords in like wings, and then you can collapse the blades down, you can kind of get that, well, if I don't throw them across the room, you can kind of get that jet feel out of it. But that's just kind of a fan mode that I kind of came up with and thought it'd be interesting. However, in their official mode, just tabbed into the side, I'm not a big fan of that, so I'm just going to leave Vortex like so. Which brings me to his vehicle mode. He is a primarily red helicopter, with some purple detailing strewn throughout the figure. The blades themselves are completely molded in purple plastic, which I really feel like it differentiates from the figure itself. You can see purple detailing all down the body, purple detailing here on the tail fin, and even down here as well. So, overall very nice. Whatever's not purple is actually black, and you can see the black painted here on the that actually is paint on the windows, and then he has this black gun here, and a nice black Decepticon logo right there. I'll zoom in on that. So, very nice logo. There's a little bit of yellow hanging out here from the robot mode, but other than that, he is a red and purple helicopter. So very nice. His rotors do spin, but you have to do them manually. They don't spin very well on their own. And also, you can condense the blades if you just want a dual-bladed helicopter. But that's Vortex's helicopter mode. Now, since Vortex is the only helicopter character in the game, he's naturally going to be the only helicopter toy. But just for the sake of comparisons, I brought in his fellow flying Decepticons, Blastoff and Shockwave, so you can see how he compares with these 2 different styles of aircraft. You can see Blastoff is really short and stout, where Shockwave is really thin and tall, and Vortex is kind of snugly right in the middle. He's from the front, he looks kind of chunky, but if you stand him up, you can actually see he just looks like a helicopter. There's really no doubt about that he's just a little helicopter, but he won't stand up. There. He did this earlier. He stood up like this. But yeah, okay. I'm just gonna hold him. You can see that he's a nice little helicopter here, just chilling out. He is about as long as Shockwave, but he is a lot thicker, and he definitely has the proportions of a helicopter. Transformation is, once again, simple, but unique in its own way. What you want to do first, you can go ahead and just collapse the blades down like so. Then you take the front, and the best way to grab is right under here. And you just split the cockpit straight down the middle. You can just move them out to the side like so. You can go ahead and flip in the gun if you want to. Then what you want to do is, I'll just go ahead and take the legs down here out of the way. You want to fold these landing struts in to form the heel. So now that that's out of the way, what you want to do is you want to take this helicopter piece, and it actually swivels up and around like so. And now you can see it uncovers the hands here. And you can get your hands and pry this apart. It just literally snaps in half and folds over to the side like so. You rotate the waist 180 degrees to get the skirt piece up front, because otherwise this piece won't fold down all the way. Speaking of which, you want to fold this down just along the back here, and then take this panel right here and it just flips down and snaps into place. Then you take the head and rotate it down, so now it's facing forward. So now what you do is, with the arms, you can see the arms are kind of folded up into the side of the helicopter here. If I can get it to sit straight. There. You just want to unfold this forward, and then this piece clicks up into position on the shoulder. Then you can lower the shoulder down, and you rotate the arm 180 degrees, and I'll do this again from the front here. Rotate the arm down, it clicks up into position, rotate 180 degrees, and here we have Vortex in his robot mode. And in his robot mode, you can see a very interesting color palette change from being a primarily red with purple details helicopter to a primarily purple with red details robot. It's a very interesting color swap, and it really drives home the feeling of changing from one form to another, just through subtle paint schemes. So, without, too much revealed here, there's a lot of purple on the chest, and the yellow pieces you saw, they were revealed mostly, but you saw a little bit of those in the robot, or vehicle mode rather. The arms are primarily red, and the feet are red, and then these little pieces down here are the knees, and they're molded in purple. But overall, I think he looks very nice in this mode, and the paint just really looks good on him. Looking at that face sculpt, you can clearly see that no expense was spared when creating this head. It looks like it's pulled straight out of the video game, or off the front of the box, if you will. The side fins here do sit a little far forward than they should. As a matter of fact, they were behind the head in the character model, but for the way it transforms, you're going to have to make an exception. And they do hinder the posability, but I'll get to that later. And here in robot mode, you can see where Vortex stands as far as size. As you can see, he is significantly shorter, about a head and a half, than Megatron from War for Cybertron, but he is about a half a head taller than Fall of Cybertron Optimus Prime, so he's definitely not the smallest of the new line. Now, his weapons in robot mode can incorporate two ways. You can have him hold them like standard swords, and you're going to have to be wary here. The way the sword is held, you can see there's these little notches. You're going to have to move this blade assembly out of the way a little bit, otherwise it won't fit snugly unless you do. So be wary that you're going to have to move that. If this sword doesn't feel like it's tabbing in correctly, it's because this is in the way. So there's that. And also, I mentioned the little barrels. If you want, he can hold them like guns. And you can just pretend that the swords are bayonets or something. But like I said, it does have the little barrel down here at the bottom, so you can pretend they're a gun if you're not a big fan of a sword. But, that's that. And also, his blade on his arm, you can use that as a weapon, or you can unfold it to have him use as a shield. It's just personal preference. Personally, I feel like it should be on his back where it belongs, but it doesn't get in the way here a lot, so I can pass with it being a weapon. It can be a giant sword just mounted on his arm, or you can use it as a shield, like I said. Now his posability. Here you'll really see what I'm talking about with those vents on the side of his neck. You can see here that they're not going to get much posability because they're in the way. As a matter of fact, it's almost limited. However, if you work his head up and over, you can get him to really use the potential of this fully articulated ball joint that makes up his neck. He does have fully articulated up and down, and it's a ball joint, so it goes anywhere. However, as I said, these side fins kind of hinder that a little bit. His shoulders are fully ball jointed, and he has a 360 degree swivel here at the base of the shoulder. I'm not sure what you'd call that for an elbow. It doesn't go all the way to make a 90-degree angle, but it does fold back due to the transformation. Same on this side, except this, as I mentioned before, this panel here for his blades does rotate 360 degrees. However, it does have some click points to be wary of due to transformation. He has a full waist swivel. However, as I stated in transformation, this has to be tabbed in all the way, so you're not going to get more than that unless you're putting stress on this, and you really don't want to do that. So unless you untab the backpack, you're just going to have that. However, he does have the potential to have a full 360-degree waist. And never fear, this skirt is articulated in case you want to play with the legs. So you just lift it up and it articulates as far as you want. It's very understanding in that aspect. It just folds as however high you want the knees to go. The thighs are fully articulated with a ball joint. There's a swivel there as well, so you get a full 360-degree swivel. The knee bends about 90 degrees, and it is a nice clicky joint, if you can hear that, but it clicks very nicely. And if you want to take advantage of that transformation joint, more power to you. But that's about it for Vortex's posability. It's pretty posable. And transforming him back to his helicopter mode. What you want to do first is we'll just go ahead and get the head out of the way, just rotate it where it's facing straight up, and then tuck that up in there, so where his chin is up inside the tail fin here. Then you can untab the shoulder, and making sure that the shoulder ball joint is in place, you want to rotate this all the way around, and then you can see here it folds over. Like I said, the shoulder has to be in the right position for this to work, and you can see it kind of puzzle pieces back together like so. So I'm going to bring the shoulder down again. I'm going to rotate this 180 degrees. This blade really does get in the way for this step. And then you just want to fold it over, and it all kind of puzzle pieces back together. You can see the shoulder here and then the arm. Then you want to rotate, actually bring this piece up first. Then you can rotate the waist 180 degrees, so now you have the tail fin up, and then you can close these around the tail fin, and it locks, now if it does it correctly, it locks all this together, so now none of this is going anywhere. And go ahead and take the rotor and swing it back over like so, so now it's covering up the hands. Take the landing pads and flip them out, or the landing struts rather, flip them out to the side. Now with the legs split, you want to bend this up and flip the gun out just so you can have the clearance. Be wary, the hand and the gun cannot be inside together. You have to have one or the other out. So if you're having a clearance issue, make sure one of these is out. You just fold this up, and now for it to do it right, the knee joints here have to be bent a little bit, so you might as well just go ahead and bend those. So it's going to make a flush line down here at the bottom, and I'll show that in a minute. But then you just push this together, and the feet tab in around the arms, making sure it's tabbed. And now you can see here, you can see the flush line here, so it actually makes a more rounded cockpit section. And then last step, just flail out the blades, and there you have Vortex in his vehicle mode once more. So overall, I think Vortex is a really cool vehicle mode. Probably my favorite vehicle mode. The robot mode could use a little bit. Like I said, the blades could have been on his back. But yeah, today's only day 3, so be sure to stay tuned for the rest of the week. And thank you for viewing this video, and goodbye.